Look for these most valuable wheat pennies that could make you a millionaire. In the vast ocean of everyday currency, it's easy to overlook the humble penny. After all, how much could a 1-cent coin really be worth? As it turns out, in the right year, with the right mint error, and under the watchful eye of a collector or grading expert, it could be worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Today, we're diving into the stories behind 3 incredibly valuable Lincoln cents that have become the subject of intense interest in the numismatic community. These include the 1985 Lincoln cent with a rare numeral extension error, the 1996 Lincoln cent with a similar die anomaly, and the 1997 Lincoln cent with an off-center strike. Together, these coins represent more than just currency, they are stories, artifacts, and hidden treasure. Let's begin with the 1985 Lincoln cent, a coin that was supposed to be standard issue but turned out to be anything but. The anomaly lies in the date. If you look closely at the 1 in 1985, on some rare coins, you'll notice that it doesn't stop where it should. Instead, the vertical stroke of the 1 stretches downward abnormally and appears to nearly or actually touch Lincoln's coat. To the untrained eye, this may look like a simple design quirk, but to experts and collectors, it's an unmistakable die flaw. These coins are often called extended 1 or elongated 1 varieties. The origin of this error could stem from a die chip or die fatigue, issues that are rare but known to happen occasionally even in modern minting. Such flaws may sound minor, but in the coin world, these seemingly subtle details create massive value, especially when they're paired with high-grade surfaces, minimal wear, sharp details, and full luster. If you're lucky enough to own such a coin in MS65 or higher, its market value can rise exponentially. And here's the kicker, because these errors aren't well known to the general public, they're still showing up in circulation. That's right. You could theoretically find one of these in a handful of loose change. Next, let's shift our attention to the 1996 Lincoln cent, another penny with an unexpected flaw. Much like its 1985 counterpart, this error involves the 1 in the date. On specific examples of the 1996 penny, the vertical line of the numeral 1 extends lower than usual, reaching toward or even touching Lincoln's coat. The error itself is subtle but clear when compared side by side with a standard 1996 penny. Collectors refer to this as a tail drag or low 1 variation. One of the more fascinating aspects of the 1996 error coin is that it's believed to be part of a small run, meaning only a limited number were struck before the dies were corrected. That limited run adds rarity, and in the collector world, rarity is gold. These coins, when graded and authenticated, can bring in serious offers, especially when sold at auction. Grading services like PCGS and NGC have recorded several such coins submitted for evaluation, and every time one appears at a major coin show, it turns heads. But what causes this kind of error? Again, it often comes down to the dies used in striking the coins. Dies are subjected to extreme pressure during the minting process, and over time, they wear down or chip. If a worn die continues to be used without proper maintenance, unusual errors like this elongated numeral can appear. It's a perfect storm, a worn die, a standard production run, and an unnoticed error that made its way into mass circulation. Now, we come to the most dramatic error of the 3, the 1997 Lincoln cent with an off-center strike. Unlike the subtle numeral elongation of the other 2 coins, this error is immediately noticeable. Off-center strikes happen when a coin blank, called a planchet, is not properly aligned within the striking chamber. As a result, when the dies come down to imprint the coin, part of the design is missing. On an off-center 1997 penny, you might see Lincoln's head skewed to one side, with parts of the legend, motto, or date partially cut off or completely missing. The value of an off-center strike is determined by several factors: how off-center the strike is, the more dramatic, the better, whether the date and mint mark are fully visible, and the overall condition of the coin. A 1997 penny that is struck 50% off-center but still shows the full date and mint mark is a jackpot find. These coins are rare by nature because quality control at the Denver Mint is generally quite strict. For such an error to slip through and enter circulation is unusual and exciting. Collectors especially love off-center coins because they showcase the imperfection and fallibility of the minting process. In a world where machines are expected to operate with microscopic precision, seeing a coin where something clearly went wrong is almost thrilling. These coins are a visual reminder that even massive systems make mistakes, and those mistakes can become incredibly valuable. Let's talk value. For the 1985 elongated 1 penny, high-grade examples have been estimated to sell between $1,000 and $4,500 depending on condition and demand. Lower-grade coins still fetch hundreds when authenticated. The 1996 low 1 error penny is slightly rarer, and some examples in pristine condition have reached sale prices of over $6,000 at auction. Again, certification and condition are key. But the 1997 D off-center Lincoln penny can outshine both, especially if the off-center strike is dramatic and the date and mint mark are visible. Some examples have sold for $7,500 or more when graded by PCGS as MS-66 or higher. Beyond monetary value, these coins carry something far more interesting, a story. A story of how a small, common coin became an accidental treasure. A story of people who pay close enough attention to spot a once-in-a-million flaw. A story of history, craftsmanship, and chance. So how do you find one of these coins? First, check your change. Seriously. Start with that jar of pennies collecting dust on your desk. Grab a magnifying glass and a small scale. Examine any penny dated 1985, 1996, or 1997, especially those with a D mint mark. Compare the shape of the 1 in the date with known images of standard coins. If anything looks off, set it aside. For off-center strikes, visual inspection is usually enough. If the design looks skewed or unbalanced, you may be looking at a mint error. Keep in mind that damage from circulation can sometimes mimic true mint errors, so when in doubt, get an expert opinion. Send promising coins to a third-party grader. Yes, it costs money, but the investment is worth it if your coin turns out to be authentic. And once it's graded, your coin becomes part of an elite registry that could command top dollar bids from collectors worldwide. Coin collecting isn't about hoarding or luck, it's about paying attention. It's about understanding the minting process, knowing what can go wrong, and being able to spot those anomalies in everyday objects. The Lincoln cent, despite being the most common coin in American currency, continues to surprise. With each new year, new discoveries are made. And perhaps, just maybe, you'll be the next one to uncover a $5,000 error in your couch cushions. So go ahead, check your coins. The treasure might be right under your nose.